So today we we will be able to uh, have our discussion centered around uh, complex formulas.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Let me just go back. Okay. So we are looking at complex formulas, and
Uh-huh.
under complex formulas, we have remember last time when we had the discussion, we had mathematical operators where you have maybe two scenarios. Have such a situation where you have two operands. Okay. You have two operands, maybe two. Okay. In a cell, you say equals, and then maybe you are trying to add 2 plus 3. You see it? Okay. So we had the situation where we had two operands. Okay. We have two operands like that. Okay. Yeah. There's the first operand that side is 2, and then we have also the second operand, which is 3 there. And now these two operands are being added together. Okay. So now when we are looking at complex formulas, we are looking at having more than 2 operators. Okay. In a previous situation, we had only 1 operator there. Okay. This is just 1 operator there. But we are having a situation where we have maybe 2 operators, as is the case in this situation there. Okay. So when there are more than 2 operators, we consider that kind of a formula to be a complex one. Okay. So we might have maybe 2 plus 3, and then many minus 1. You see that is a complex formula. Okay. So now those are some of the formulas that we are going to look at in today's lesson. Okay. So now the order of operation is very important as well. Okay. So now you'll find to say, just like in basic mathematics, okay, in basic mathematics, you might have a sum where you have operators. Okay, say for instance 2, okay, plus 3, okay, plus 3. Okay, remember to say we had issues of brackets. Okay, back in the days. Okay. Okay. And then maybe minus 1. Okay. And then you are told to say, find what? The answer of this particular situation. Okay. So as well in Excel, we are able to achieve such scenarios. Okay. Except itself, the equal sign goes the other side. Okay. It goes the other side. So you begin your operation by putting an equal sign, and then 2 plus 3 that side, and then you put minus 1. Okay. Now, when you write such a situation, okay, these brackets, we no longer call them as brackets per se, but we shall use this technical name, which is known as parentheses. You see? So the same way that you use the issues of BODMAS, okay? Okay? The same way that you use BODMAS, in just ordinary arithmetic, okay, the same way that you invoked the use of BODMAS is the same way that we are going to use the issues of parentheses and calculation of different kinds of operations in Excel, okay? So parentheses are the brackets, these ones here, okay? These ones are what are known as parentheses, okay? They are enclosing, okay, this part, okay, and also that part, okay, is what is known as the parentheses that are barricading the operations properly, okay. So apart from that one, so meaning to say, just like the way we used to say, you start with things within the brackets, and then you use of, which might mean multiplication, and then you go to division, okay, multiplication again, and then you go to addition and subtraction, okay. So in this particular scenario, we are going to start with these things that are in the brackets. So whenever you are given a scenario, you use those very situations where you start with something that is in the bracket, okay. I did explain about something to do with exponentials last time, okay, where we were using the caret, okay, as an operation that can be used when we are trying to find maybe an exponent of a number, okay. So we use the caret as one. And then I also did emphasize the aspect of multiplication and division, okay. So what follows, what guides us is just the aspect of the BODMAS. So on order of operation, we are just looking at which one comes first, okay. Is it addition, subtraction? Is it multiplication? Is it division? Okay. Are we supposed to consider issues of brackets? So these are the guiding principles when we look at operations in Excel. Okay. Are we together this far?
Yes, we are very together, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So we when creating complex formulas, okay, here we want to calculate maybe the cost of sales tax, okay, where you have items arranged like that, okay. We have got item 1, this one, item 2, okay, and then maybe this item is costing 2.29 ingwe, okay, and maybe the quantity might be 20 there, and then we are also having another quantity which is 30 there, and then we are told to say, okay, this is the formula to calculate the tax altogether, okay. So remember to say, we in the previous slide we talked about issues of parentheses. We talked about issues of parentheses. So you'll see that first of all, the price and the quantity is indicated that side, okay. So we have the price of each commodity, that's a unit price, and then we have the quantity, okay? So this unit quantity, price multiplied by the quantity, which is indicated in the parenthesis there. You see that? So the parenthesis itself is holding the addition of the two, okay. So you have this part which is D2, this particular one, okay, which is the price for this particular item altogether, okay. This plus this times this gives us that, okay, and then this times this gives us that particular. Now collectively for the two we want to find what? the tax, how much tax these two will be charged. Okay, so we are going to add 45 kwacha 8 engwe. Okay, 45 kwacha 8 engwe plus 68 kwacha. Okay.
70 ngwe.
Yeah, 70 ngwe. I'm sorry, the dots are not very, very clear enough. Okay, but I'm sure you are able to.
I can see.
Yeah, see to the. Let me just remove this. Okay, so we have 68 kwacha 70 ngwe, like that. So we add the two. Okay, and then after adding the two, we multiply, okay, with an isosteric that side. So the percentage is 0.075, okay. That is the percentage that we're going to have. Okay. Now, this is the amount of the tax that we are trying to charge. So for us, we are adding the two, this part and this part, of different quantities, but the same price. So when we add the two, multiply by the quantity, multiply by the percentage in terms of what is obtained that side. So this is what is going to be put as what is going to be taxed. You see, are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So when we add the two, we multiply them by the taxable percentage. Okay. It is going to give us the entire amount which is going to be taxed. And it is the one that is going to be reflected in this particular cell. And the remaining will be what will be put as the total that side. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is an illustration of how complex formulas can be treated. And then another type of formula that we're going to look at today is known as the relative and absolute cell referencing. Okay, so this is also another type of referencing that is very important to know in our discussion. Okay, it's also very important to take note of what is known as relative and absolute cell referencing. Okay, there are two types of cell referencing. Okay. And they behave differently. Okay, they behave differently. If you are able to see from my notes here, is that relative cell change when the formula copied onto another cell. Okay. All together. Okay. I'll take you back to another slide, which I'm going to maybe share. Okay. So for instance, we have maybe this is the cell A2. Okay. Maybe we have 23 altogether. Okay. Maybe this is this is history marks. Okay. History. Okay. Or maybe we just don't even just say, okay, history. Okay. We just say, okay, fine. This is another maybe 45, a number. Okay. And then maybe we have also 44. Okay. And then we have 78, like that altogether. So now, if you want to
hello.
Hello?
are you sharing that particular, yes, are you sharing that particular slide where you are working on?
Oh, you can't see it?
Okay, now it has come.
It has come?
Yeah, I think it's just the network. So I was still on the relative, the notes.
Oh,
So now I can see the Excel sheet now.
you can see the Excel sheet, eh? And it has
Yes.
those particular numbers. You are able to see the numbers 23, and then
Okay, yes.
you are able to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we together? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Are you able to see the four numbers that I've put on 4 different cells? These numbers, are you able to see them?
Hello, where am I?
Have I lost you?
Hello.
Hello? Are we still together?
No, we are not.
We are not.
I think
You are behind?
no, I don't know. I must have clicked somewhere. The screen is gone.
The screen is gone. Wow.
Able to see you. Okay, so let me do that. Hello.
Hello. Are we together?
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm able to get you clearly, loud and clear. Hello? Hello? Are you able to get me?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I'm back now. I'm completely back.
You're
Yes, hello.
Yes, are you able to get me?
Yes, and I can see the numbers.
You can see the numbers, eh? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just magnify them so that we are able to see them. Are you able to see them clearly now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was trying to say cell reference. Okay. For instance, if at all we are trying to say A2 out together. And then we add B2. Okay. You see what is there. Okay. So if I copy this formula, okay, this formula that is there, okay. Sorry about that. This is A2, okay. A2 plus B2, okay. You'll see that it is getting automatically this and that, okay. So now, for instance, if I was to drag this particular one, okay, look at the formula that is there, okay. The formula has been copied down, okay, but the formula has not, it has not upheld the particular operands, okay. You see, because if you look at this formula, here we have got A2 all together. Hello? And then we know.
Hello?
Yes. Are we together?
Hello, I'm here, yes?
Yes. I was saying to say, here we have got A2. You've seen that here there's A2. Yes, but when we go, it's the same formula which has been copied down. Okay, okay. It is the same formula here which has been copied down. Okay, so if, for instance, we go into this particular one. Okay, you see. Sorry. This is A2. Okay, A2. Okay. So if you look at A2 there, this particular one is A2 plus B2, okay, which is giving us the same sum. Okay.
B2.
So yes, if we go into this one, this is A3 and B what? B3. You see that?
B3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the essence is that when I was dragging like that, I was copying the formula from the top to the down. You see that?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So now when I was copying from top to down, it maintained the operator, but it didn't maintain the two operands, this one and this one.
Oh.
You see that? Because if you look at these two, this one is different from what we have on this one. This is A2 plus the B2. So that particular thing where you are able to reference the operator, okay? You are able to reference the operator minus referencing the actual operands is known as what we know as what we now call as just mere cell what? Cell relative what? Relative frequency.
Referencing.
Okay? Okay? So
yes,
that is what is found under relative referencing. So if you look at my screen there altogether, so relative referencing is when copied across multiple cells, they change based on the relative positions of the rows and columns altogether. Okay, so based on the relative rows and columns, you find to say
columns.
Yes, the formula will change altogether based on the relative position of rows and the columns. So what you expect in this formula to change are these what are known as what? Operands. But you don't expect the operator to what? To change. So here we had the A1, okay? And here we are having A what? 2. Altogether, here we have B1, but here we have B2. Okay, so you are trying to copy, yes, you are trying to copy items. Okay, you copy a formula from one cell to the other. So as you are trying to copy one cell to the other, you don't change the operator, but the operands are the ones that are keep on what? Changing, depending on the relative position of the rows and the what? And the columns. Okay, so we can fully concentrate to say, okay, this the change that follows suit like that is the one that we are seeing altogether.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I ask you this question?
Yes, please. You can go ahead.
So, for example, if we have 10, we have, for example, in the example, we have 2 of these. Now, if we had 10 going down there,
in terms of rows,
it's in terms of rows. We had 10, and so then we put this formula in the first one, and then we drag down there. So these would be adding themselves up on their own. Is that so?
Yes. Let me just.
But although there will be different numbers, of course, like let's say A4 and B4 will have different figures. So if we copied this way, the way we did, and then we just copy down to the 10 10th set of figures. So they will be like just adding totals going down, eh?
Yes. Let me just show you
Oh.
something. Let me just show you something. Okay. I hope you are able to see what I'm putting down there.
Yes, I'm able, sir. I'm following.
Okay. So here we will put, we are trying to add this cell, okay?
And that cell, yeah.
And that, and this cell, all together. So we add them, and this is the formula, okay? So when we want to find the corresponding, when we want to find the corresponding values of the other numbers, I'm sure you're able to see them. It's now.
Yes, I can see. Yeah.
Yes. So if we want to find the other corresponding sums of these particular numbers, we can simply put our star there, our cursor there. You've seen how the star comes out, eh? Yes. And then we drag it down like that. Okay. And it will give us the corresponding values. Now, one thing that we must tell, this process is what is known as replicating. Replicating.
Okay.
All together? Yes. So this process is what is known as we are trying to maybe replicate the formula. Okay.
Yeah.
It is okay. Replicate. Okay. That's the word that is used when you are asked to say, can you replicate the formula? Meaning to say, you are just simply dragging the formula down that particular path. You see that? So we can replicate this particular formula going downwards like that. You've seen that?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So that formula you can replicate. Now, where you replicate from is that make sure to say you come and place your cursor that particular point. Okay? And then you drag it down. And the formula, this formula will be copied down the cells like that.
Okay.
Yes. So that is what we know.
Clear.
That is what we call as replicating. Okay. So we can make sure to say we reference the cell. Okay. Yes, and replicate the formula down that particular path so that we can have a very good outcome of what our formula. Are we together this far?
Very, very much together, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So the other part that we have to look at is known as absolute cell referencing. Are we together? So now this absolute cell referencing is a little bit different from the cell referencing that we have looked at. Okay? Yes, it's a little bit different because the absolute cell referencing itself, it will maintain. Are we together? Are we together? I seem to have lost you. Hello? Hello?
Yep. Hello. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. So the absolute cell referencing itself tries to maintain. Okay. There's nothing that changes in the formula. Okay. So unlike the relative, absolute referencing do not change any copied or field altogether. So you can use the absolute reference to keep a row, okay, and or a column constant, okay. So for instance, yes. So for instance, there are different kinds of cell referencing that we could use. Okay, there are different cell reference that we could use. Okay, so if you look at this particular, so one other thing that we have to make into consideration is that cell referencing is symbolized by this dollar sign. Are you able to see that? Yes. So whenever you use the dollar sign, then that means you are able now to use cell referencing properly. So it precedes, okay, a column or a number. Okay. So for instance, if I told you look at this, there's a dollar sign before A and there's a dollar sign before 2. So the column and the row do not change when copied. Altogether. Yes. So let me just share something with you here. Okay. So if you look at this particular scenario, remember we said equals sign. Okay. So we have A2, okay, plus B2. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
So we have the answer, which is 64. So for instance, if we put a dollar sign there, okay, so we say dollar and another dollar, okay, and then we say plus, okay. Sorry. Yes. So we come and replicate the formula there. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I'll replicate the formula first of all there. Okay. And then say for instance, this is the $2, $A plus $2, meaning to say it's maintaining this particular one. Are we together? Yes. So what is being maintained is 23. Okay. So they are maintaining the row and the column. Okay. So yes, it's trying to maintain, to say, okay, you are trying to refer and maintain it to this particular one. Okay. So if you look at A2, let me just go back and show you what I mean in the notes. Okay. So the next slide will give us, okay. Sorry, I've moved so fast. So if you look at, yes, if you look at this particular one, all together, so we have the dollar sign there and the dollar sign, which is making us to say, okay, this particular part here will be copied down.
Down to all of them.
Yes, it will be copied down to all of them, minus what? Minus it making any changes. Okay, so we have technically 3 types of referencing. So we have this one where when you copy it down, this one, it maintains the column and the row together. So the column and the row do not change when copied. You see that? Okay. So if you remember when I added the top part, okay, when I added the top part here, okay, when I added, okay, so if you look at, this is absolute A2 and the there's A2 and the A2. So if you look at, if I drag this particular formula like that altogether, and maybe use my formulas, I show you like that, you've seen that A2 there has been maintained. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So it has been maintained because I've told the formula to say, don't change anything.
Don't change anything on that one.
Yeah. Yes. So if you look at these numbers, that's why some of the numbers have even actually decreased. Okay. Because if you look at this particular part, maybe we say equals. Look at the difference. Okay. If you look at the difference, let me just show you. So for instance, I want to, let me color this one. I'll color it, no, I'll color it blue. You've seen the figures? This is what we have used, the absolute referencing altogether. So look at these ordinary numbers that we're going to say, okay, A2 plus B2, okay? It will give us, if you look at and drag, you've seen that there's a difference. This one, which is using cell reference, is coming to 101. But this one, which is using just that relative frequency,
relative frequencies,
yes, itself has got different figures here. Yes, you see that? So it is using different figures. So this is how the two are different. Okay, so they are different. So you can refer maybe like this particular one, which is just referencing the row does not change. And then maybe this one, the column does not change. Because when you write, yes, you see, each cell, okay, each particular cell has got a letter on top. Okay, so each cell, maybe this cell is known as A1. Okay, so this part is the column, this part is the row. So that's the more reason why they are also considered to say, okay, here when we put a dollar sign that side, that means we are now controlling the column part. Okay?
Yeah.
We are now controlling the column part. When we place this dollar sign that side, that particular side, then that means we are controlling the side of the what? The row. Okay? This one controls both sides, the row and the column. This one controls the row. This one controls the column. So these are basically the two types of referencing that we are able to take note of. Okay, so here again, I did indicate, put a sample question, okay, a sample question, which is trying to use a follow-up in the next, okay. So we are trying to find the percentage in terms of the tax rate, sales tax rate, okay. And then we are going to reference, okay, cell, okay, this column and this particular cell, okay. So, are there any questions up to this particular point?
No, at the moment I'm still following. I have got the logic.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next thing that we're going to do is that these are the steps that we have to follow when we are trying to use absolute referencing. Okay, step number 1: select the cell you will contain, that will contain the formula. Okay, so we selected the cell first of all. Okay, you select, okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do is enter the formula to calculate the desired value. So you are entering the formula that you are trying to use. So you enter this formula. You see that? After selecting the cell that you are going to, because remember, we selected this cell, and then in that cell, we entered this particular formula. And then after entering this particular formula, we even multiply the tax. Okay, Now, this particular tax, we want this particular tax to appear, okay, to appear on all the numbers that are going to follow afterwards. So after that particular one, what you are able to do now is press enter on the keyboard and the formula will calculate. So after you've entered this particular formula, okay, which has been entered here, I'm sure you're able to see.
Yeah.
Yes. So this particular formula has been entered here. So after entering it, and then you place enter. And after placing enter, again, you come on this particular point here, and then you drag your formula downwards.
Downwards.
Yes. Such that this particular formula will be replicated. Now, as it is being replicated, it will maintain this particular one, because we have said to say we are using absolute what? Reference.
Absolute, yeah, reference. Yes. Wow, this is nice.
Yes, so it will maintain all those particulars. So you are trying to find the tax for this one particular, because you can't have a tax that is changing. So the best is, yes, instead of using a number, remember in the previous slide we said we used 0.07075. You see that? But now we are using cell referencing, absolute referencing.
Oh, yeah.
Which itself, instead of you putting the numbers that side, but you are putting the actual cells, so that it can easen up your work. Instead of you trying to get a number, put it there and stuff like that, but you use those particular scenarios to maintain that particular thing. Do we have any questions up to that point?
No, sir. I'm following very well.
Okay. So this was what we were trying to look at. Okay. So if you look at, if I was to show you the formulas, you are going to see that the two formulas are different. Okay. We have got this particular one. Okay. Let me just magnify my work. Okay. We have got this particular one. Okay. This side. Okay. We have got this particular one where we have got this side. Okay. Able to see this part? This part is using the absolute referencing. You see that? And then this particular side is also using relative referencing. Okay?
Relative referencing, yeah.
Okay. So for instance, if at all we were to put all these in absolute form, you see that? If we are able to put them in absolute form, so we say, okay, these ones should be in absolute form. Let's see what is going to happen. And then maybe I cancel out my show formulas there. You've seen that it is maintaining the same number as the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is maintaining the same number, since we have used to say, we are not going to change the formula, the numbers, they will appear as they are. So let them continue. You see that? Hello? Yes. So that's the difference when we...
Hello, yes.
Yes, that's the difference when we are trying to look at cell referencing. So you have, this is an absolute one, and this particular one is the a relative one.
Relative.
Yes. Do we have any queries up to this point?
No, we are good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. If at all we don't have any questions. Anyway, thank you very much.
We are following.
Yes, thank you very much for today's lesson, because this is what was prepared under the complex. We looked at the aspect of operations, okay, operations, okay, in in our area discussion, we looked at the operations that are supposed to follow. Okay, they are supposed to follow a particular channel. So if at all you have brackets, you make sure to say you look at brackets first of all, and then before you proceed to the other one. And then the next one we looked at is referencing. Okay, referencing. Okay, where we have absolute referencing and also relative what? Referencing. Okay, so these are the three important things that we were looking at today. Okay, under complex formulas, as it were. So in the next lesson, we are going to look at functions.
Okay.
Yes, functions are the ones that we're going to look at. Unless there are any other things that
no, for today, I'm really fine, satisfied, and I'll do some practice afterwards, just to see, just put numbers here and there, drag stuff, and just put the dollar sign here and there to see what happens, just for me to practice.
Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll share the slide with you, and then I'll also share the video for our lesson today, so that you'll be able.
I'm very grateful.
Yes, you can be able to go side by side with the video and also the practicing. Actually, you know, this is really benefiting for me. Hello? Hello?